Welcome back to CIA Declassified, the broadcast dedicated to dissecting the classified documents that reveal how intelligence agencies seek to exploit biology at its most fundamental level, the human genome. Today, we move past traditional chemical or biological warfare and into the realm of strategic bioengineering. We address the chilling fact that the U.S. intelligence explored the possibility of creating synthetic programmable viruses designed not to kill, but to temporarily and reversibly alter the cognitive or reproductive functions of a targeted population. We are analyzing the CIA's involvement in synthetic biological pathogens and targeted genetic modification, treating human DNA as a software program that can be remotely edited and reset. Our primary evidence is the declassified file CIA-RDP84-01004R000100020007-9. This report is titled, and I quote, Strategic Bioengineering and Reversible Genomic Intervention. It confirms that specialized virology, genetics, and epidemiology resources were tasked with evaluating the possibility of creating an adeno-associated virus or similar vector engineered to deliver a specific temporary genetic payload to somatic cells. The context here is complete, deniable, mass-scale demographic and cognitive control. If a nation can temporarily impair a rival population's memory or ability to reproduce, it gains an overwhelming silent strategic advantage that leaves no physical trace of aggression. The file's existence confirms that genetic engineering was viewed not just as a tool for medicine, but as a mechanism for systemic strategic interference. The analysis focuses on two primary areas: programmable reversibility for ethical control and deniability, and neurological fertility targeting for maximum strategic impact. Let's drill down into the rigorous and ethically devastating theoretical methodology documented in this file. The analysts demanded a path to exploit the core machinery of life itself. The file required an intense focus on synthetic virus design and reversibility. The research centered on creating a payload with a kill switch or degradation mechanism. The virus needed to be programmed to perform its function, e.g., block a specific memory-forming protein or impair sperm motility for a set period and then automatically degrade or be neutralized by a common, harmless environmental trigger, such as a specific vitamin or an inert, widely distributed chemical aerosol. The theory proposed two primary targets. 1. Mass memory disruption, targeting neurological pathways responsible for long-term memory formation, e.g., targeting the hippocampus to induce temporary widespread confusion, stalling complex societal functions like supply chain management or military command execution. And 2, temporary fertility impairment, targeting the production of reproductive cells in a reversible manner, thereby achieving demographic control that appears to be a natural, localized health crisis. The key challenge was achieving untraceable delivery. The document outlines methods for using common carriers, e.g., municipal water supplies, commercial HVAC systems, to distribute the airborne or waterborne synthetic virus, ensuring a high rate of exposure while avoiding detection by biodefense systems designed for conventional pathogens. The document includes conceptual specifications for establishing degradation timelines, the precise duration of the effect, e.g., 6 months of memory disruption followed by 99% recovery, to guarantee deniability and minimize irreversible damage that could trigger international legal action. Crucially, the file dedicated an entire section to ethical oversight and legal precedents. This acknowledges the massive violation of international agreements against biological warfare. The agency's analysts focused on framing the material as non-lethal temporary cognitive or reproductive interference, attempting to loophole existing treaties. We must now examine the primary finding, the agency's assessment of the concept's potential for strategic control. This is a critical excerpt regarding the confirmation of viability. Quote, theoretical models confirm that genetically encoded time-delayed protein suppression via engineered AAV vectors is a feasible high-yield methodology for achieving mass reversible cognitive interference within a dense population center. End quote. And another quote from a section discussing strategic implementation: the ability to temporarily remove a nation's collective memory or depress its birth rate over a generation without deploying a single soldier or filing a single weapon represents the pinnacle of long-term non-kinetic conflict. End quote. This is the true meaning of the file. It states that genetic engineering is the next frontier of strategic warfare, turning biology itself into a programmable weapon. The focus shifted from how do we conquer the enemy to how do we make the enemy forget how to fight or stop reproducing. We now address the chilling operational implications of this file, the deployment of synthetic biological pathogens in strategic maneuvering. The most extensive redactions occur in the section titled Cross-Species Contamination Vectors and Reversibility Guarantee Failures. This suggests detailed discussions around the horrific risk of the synthetic virus jumping to non-target species, including the deploying nation's own population and the analysis of scenarios where the reversibility switch fails, leading to permanent genetic damage or sterility. Why redact reversibility guarantee failures? Because this section documents the internal acknowledgement that the ethical and practical constraints of the weapon could not be 100% guaranteed, making its use a gamble with humanity's future. The concept discussed is the creation of a denial of function grid. The system allows a nation to neutralize an entire adversarial region by disrupting its collective ability to plan, manage, or reproduce, slowing down military and economic development over decades. The file details the requirement for highly secured biosafety level 4 laboratories for production and testing, often hidden within larger pharmaceutical or agricultural research institution. The strategic weaponization of this research is clear. It is a genomic dominance weapon that fundamentally challenges the nature of long-term geopolitical conflict. A state possessing this capability gains the ability to field a weapon that achieves strategic objectives by rewriting the adversary's biological functionality. We conclude our analysis of this document. The existence and scope of the research confirm that U.S. intelligence treated the direct programmable manipulation of human genetic and biological function as an actionable, high-priority strategic objective. The implication is that analysis moved into the sphere of applied existential biology, seeking to exploit the mechanisms of life itself for the sake of perpetual intelligence advantage. This research represents the ultimate weaponization of the code of life. If this documented truth has opened your mind to the technological boundaries explored by those in power, we require your continued support. First, like this episode and leave us a detailed 5-star review wherever you listen. This is how the analysis exposes the deeper scientific agendas. Second, share this episode with someone obsessed with virology, genetic engineering, ethics, or demographic control. We need more sharp minds analyzing these documented facts. Next, we move from the unseen world of biological vectors to the absolute control over visible reality. We will analyze the CIA's classified research into active invisibility and adaptive camouflage. The agency's attempt to investigate the theoretical and engineering feasibility of creating real-time adaptive surface capable of rendering objects completely invisible across the electromagnetic spectrum, from visible light to thermal. For our next investigation, we'll look at CIA document RDP78-02881R00020008-8, a stunning file concerning metamaterials and real-time spectral cloaking. What were the core principles investigated for engineering metamaterials to bend light and heat around an object? How did the analysts plan to leverage this technology for achieving undetectable insertion of massive vehicles or personnel into denied airspace? And what does this reveal about the terrifying strategic goal of eliminating the visibility barrier and mastering the appearance of reality itself? Tune in for our next episode, CIA Declassified, Active Invisibility and Adaptive Camouflage. Until then, remember, maintain your vigilance, question the code of life, and keep your critical thinking sharp. I'll see you in the archives.